All right, well, I appreciate everyone coming out. I know double duty with Coach D going earlier today, but appreciate that. And you know, as we're getting rolling here, we are able to jump on the ice as soon as classes start with limited hours. But you know, now we're getting close to when we get into normal hours, October 6th. So it's been pretty exciting. It's been a good fall. I think our guys did a really nice job. I think last year, kind of building towards some things we wanted to do, and then we had an outstanding spring, and we had about 6 or 7 weeks, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future here, our spring will be a little bit shorter training wise, but you know, that led us into the summer. The guys had a good first half of the summer at home. Everybody was back for the second half, which was outstanding. They could work out together. The freshmen were taking classes, getting acclimated to campus, so they really worked in some nice segments of about 6, 7 weeks with a little break in between. And then the same thing getting back here on campus will be about 6 or 7 weeks, and then we'll get rolling with the University of Windsor game. So guys have done an outstanding job. You know, we didn't lose a lot last year. You know, obviously losing Carson Gatt was a big thing. He played a lot of minutes. He was a good leader, all situations. So you know, that's a lot of ice time to fill. But you know, I think our older defensemen coming back. I think Osborne, Rosberg, and Miller. Well, Miller's a 19-year-old sophomore. He's one of our older guys coming back. They'll fill some of that. I think our freshman defensemen have done a really nice job, and we've got 3 guys in the middle there that'll push for ice time. And the same thing up front. I think we're a little bit bigger, a little faster, definitely deeper. Competition in practice has been much better, and that's a really, really positive thing for us. So, you know, there's a lot of good things looking forward, and we're excited about this. We'll be a better team this year. And we'll just keep moving that way, just keep getting better every practice, every game, and every week, and we'll continue to do that.
For questions, guys, just make sure you get the mic because we're getting the transcribed. So.
Danton, when you look at your incoming freshmen, do you have a grip yet or an idea how many you think will be impact guys that will play immediately?
You know, you've got a little bit of a feel. I think, you know, we don't have a lot of time on the ice. I think, you know, the green and white game will be good. I think the Windsor game will give us a good idea. But, you know, just, you know, from being around and practicing enough, I think the 3 defensemen coming in, the 2 Kriegers and Dennis Zazan have done a really nice job. And I think, you know, their hockey pedigree and the amount of ice they've had in high-level competitions, they've done a really nice job. And up front, the 3 have done a really nice job. You know, they fit in. We've played them together as a line to kind of make them feel comfortable playing. We've split them up with some older guys, and I think the sooner that those 6 guys you know, are in the lineup every night, the better off we'll be. Eventually, they will be. You know, hopefully that's this year, but you never know. The guys that were here last year aren't going to give up their positions or their ice time easily, and that's something that we wanted. So, but they've done a nice job. They've listened, they've learned, and you can really see the progress that they're making. And we have some sophomore lines that are together that kind of went through the same process last year, and they do a lot of things right. So, you know, they're going to have to earn their ice time. And then Drew at net has been outstanding. His compete level is off the charts. He keeps getting better and better every day, and I think one thing that, you know, that he brings that really helps us is that compete level in practice and never giving up on pucks, and kind of his refused to lose mentality. So they've made an impact, and you know, like I said, the sooner they all get playing every night, I think the better team will be.
Dan, your team has one of the best lines in college hockey in Kodorenko, Hirose, and Lewandowski. But obviously the challenge is to get a second and third line. What do you see as far as the players that are in that mix, and who do you think is going to make the role as the second, third, and fourth line centers?
Well, you know, I think we made, if you look at the second half of the year, and we had a little more success, and we kind of hovered around 500 and beat some pretty good hockey teams in the Big Ten. I think that we started getting some of that secondary scoring. I think, you know, the guys who look, you know, Lambden and Cody Milan started scoring a little bit 5-on-5. He did a good job power play all year, but 5-on-5 goals were a little hard for us to come by at times. So, you know, those 2 guys, Sam Salib, I think, is going to have a good year. He scored 10 goals his freshman year, was down a little last year, but you know, I think we put him in a lot of tough situations. So, you know, certainly those are 3 upperclassmen we look at. I think, you know, Tommy Apap and Brendan Sanford did a good job, and they chipped in some goals. And you know, you look at you know, even towards the end of the year, you know, Brody Stevens scored a couple goals, and you know, so I think it'll be a deeper situation. We might find, if we can find a true number 2 line, that would be really good for us, and hopefully that's emerging. And then, like I said, some of the freshmen have some offensive capabilities, and they'll be splattered in there. And you find the right combination and the right guy gets hot like Louis did last year, and hopefully we'll have a little better secondary scoring.
Who are the center candidates?
Well, obviously starting with Kodorenko, he's kind of in it, Tommy Apap, so those two are kind of locked. After that, we've been trying a lot of guys. Sammy still does a great job for us. I think eventually, probably next year, he'd probably end up back on the wing. I think that's where he's more comfortable, more effective. But as a junior and a captain, we might need him early on. But the three freshmen, Madison, Goodser, and Sokoviak, those are all centermen. You've got Gino coming back from last year, did a great job. He looks outstanding. He's done a really nice job. So we've got some depth there, which I like, and all those guys can play wing as well. So that's not unusual. But I like centers and I like depth in that area, and the guys will sort that out. Players decide ice path.
Okay. Oh, you go ahead. Yep.
Is it just easier for you in year number 2 because the bootstraps are kind of fastened now and everyone knows what to expect?
Yeah, the first year, was interesting. A little bit like a mosquito at a nudist beach. I knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know where to get started. This year, it's different. We used to talk at the NTDP where it's different, not easier. You still have to bring the same mentality, the same process driven, the same focus as a staff, and you have to get that, and you have to pass that on to the players. They can't say, well, it's the second year, everything's easier, and we're just going to go out and win hockey games. We have to work as hard, if not harder, than we did last year. So our preparation, we kind of knew a little bit more what we had. That might have made some things easier. We kind of knew the guys coming back. You hope they have a great summer, and I think most of them did. And then the freshmen are question mark. So I'd say more different than easier, but it's been a little bit more fun. I think we definitely know what to expect. We know that the Big Ten's a heck of a conference. I think everybody, including ourselves, got better, so it should be a lot of fun.
Then you talked about the lines, and last year, they're the top line, and then last year, it seemed like you got a point, you got a result out of almost every weekend. That might have been, as you say you'll be better. So what are the reasonable expectations from outsiders and then yourself inside the program for this team?
Yeah, in terms of being better, I think there's certain benchmarks, and you can always say wins and losses. I try not to get too caught up in that because that kind of gets you away from how you're progressing. Again, day in and day out. We want to be better every day, and I know that sounds a little cliched, but there's a lot of truth to that, and I think that's something that the players can control. And if you say, hey, we want to win, 32 out of our 34 games this year, you start losing a little bit of control on that, and that's such a big goal. You can't do that in the first weekend. So, we want results every weekend, but a lot of that varies on, like I said, there are some metrics. Our penalty kill has to be better this year. Our goaltending, we need a better save percentage. We have to give up about a half a goal less a game. We've got to score about a half a goal more a game. All right, and those are kind of real easy things to look at. But if you do those things, we'll be in the mix of doing some pretty good things result-wise this year. And again, I'll go back to, I think, the greatest coaches. I don't get to hang around all of them, a few of them here on campus, but I read a lot of books and go through a lot of stuff and watch a lot of interviews. The results will take care of themselves. It's up for us to take care of all the other stuff and make sure our guys are working hard enough and doing the right things. And we don't want to get outworked in games, and we don't want to get outsmarted. That's on the coaches and the players.
Dan, with such a skilled freshman class, does that help to build competition that all the older guys know these guys are all coming in booming for your job? How much does that help your team just get better immediately that way?
Well, that's where we want to be in as a program. You want to be in a situation where, and not the guys are looking over their shoulders. I think when you have a really good program or a really good culture, I think they look forward to that. And I know when we had guys come in, when you have a Rod Brendamore or Dwayne Norris and Jason Woolley and guys like that come in, we were excited about it. We were like, hey, we've got a chance to win another national championship, and not. You can't take the view of, oh, this guy might take my ice time, take my spot. Well, that's up to the players to get better. So it's exciting, and you can feel the energy on the ice. We've got 5 lines and 1 extra guy up there, so 16 forwards and 9 defensemen, and we go best on best quite a bit in practice, and we try and make it competitive. And we've been able to now. We're starting to get into it's a little more energy, a little more rubbing and riding out there, a little more banging around out there. It's been good, and the learning curve or the acceleration of learning when the competition is there is just, it's tremendous. It's a completely different ballgame. So, you know, last year where we had 24 guys, and you know, if you have a couple injuries, everybody's in the lineup. And not that the guys didn't work, but there's a better urgency when, if you have a bad practice or a bad week, you're not in the lineup. And we need every edge we can get right now, and that should help us.
So hockey coach's least favorite question was, is it Leffeman's job to lose right now going in, or are they even, Steven?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of guarantees. I mean, they, you know, maybe if Ryan Miller's here, you know, if he wants to come back, he has another year, you know, sneak him in. But no, it's going to be who's playing well. We'll go into it like we did last year, where you know they're going to be battling it out, and split some games, and whichever way it goes, it goes. And the competition you're talking about in the rest of the team has to continue on there. And John did a great job for us last year. We expect that out of him this year, but we also expect Drew to really push him. So you know what? I think that's a great thing back there. And goalies have to be good friends. They have to be great competitors. But at the end of the day, they got to back the guy that's in the net and expect him to cheer for you just as much as you cheer for him when you're not in the lineup. So it's a good situation.
Yep, good.
Dan, could you comment on Dennis Asana as far as his role? Obviously, puck handling defenseman, something the program hasn't had in a while, and what his expectations are for the season.
Yeah, well, you know, right now he's been slotted in, and he's with the four guys that are returning for the power play. So kind of sliding in for Gatter there. He's just really natural there. He's got a good hockey IQ. He's got a real understanding of how to flow up top on a power play, and he and Taro interchange and work the puck real well together. So you know, he's going to get a ton of playing time there. But you know, we've had him paired up with older guys, all the younger guys, and predominantly in practice, and he's been with Rosberg a lot. And Jared's done a great job leadership-wise, just in terms of helping him through practice. But you know, defensively, he's good. He's not a big physical guy, but he's got an outstanding stick. He defends fairly well, and that'll keep getting better. So he's going to see some ice time. He's going to be real effective for us. And if he's on that power play, I hope he has a ton of points. That'd be a good outcome. But he knows what he's doing out there, and he's been fun to coach.
Hi, so you finally have a captain this year after not having one last year. And Sam, what kind of a difference do you think that's going to make on and off the ice?
You know, I think we did it as a committee last year. I think the three guys we had did an outstanding job, and that wasn't not by design. I thought spreading around. There was a lot of pressure on the guys last year and the year they had before, and you know, with changes and expectations. And I thought it was good to spread that out. And I think once we took the vote in the spring, it was Sammy was clearly ahead of everyone. So I think you know, that was pretty easy on us as a staff. And then we had four guys that were real close, and we decided to kind of keep everybody involved in that leadership group. So we've got 5 guys, and again, they have to spread that out a little bit. Always can't be one guy. You know, Sammy has an off day. We've got 4 other guys. So I think the more leaders you have, I think the more guys that get votes in that, I think the better the locker room is, and especially if the older guys are. Now, we don't have a lot of seniors. But we'll rely on our seniors to lead us and do the right things, and you know, whether they wear a letter or not. You know, Zach Osborne doesn't, but he's one of the leaders on our team, and he generates a lot of stuff in practice. He generates a lot of energy and enthusiasm. He's going to get a lot of ice time, and you know, the way your seniors go, a lot of times the way your season goes. And last year, I'll say that I thought our seniors, and Ed and Dylan, didn't get a lot of playing time. Carson did. But those 3 guys did an unbelievable job. And again, only one of them wore a letter. So I kind of get away from the letters making a difference in the season. I think it's the guys in the jerseys that make the difference.
With that line, your top line returning, what do they have to be as compared to last year? I mean, do you need them to score more, or as far as the success goes? Can they be the same and you still have success and depend on other guys to come up? What's going to be their responsibility?
Well, you know, their consistency was pretty amazing last year, and you know, it wasn't every game they had the odd game where, you know, they didn't get some stuff done, but you know, night in, night out, they faced the other team's top defensemen and the top defensive line, or whoever they wanted to match up against us, and they produced and produced and produced right to the bitter end, playing Ohio State and playing Notre Dame right at the end of the year, two really good hockey teams. So you know, production wise, you know, they'll be around the same. They could be a little more, they could be a lot more. I don't know. They're going to produce. It will hopefully be spread out a little more. Hopefully the other guys pick up the slack. But what we really need out of them is they bring a certain amount of swagger to us, and they make plays. And when guys make plays like that and score goals or have a great shift, or Taro makes a really good pass, it really it buoys the bench, and you can feel the energy on the bench. You can feel the confidence, and that's outside of the scoring. It's the way they play. So we'll expect that out of them. They'll give that to us. And the other part, I think they can be better at. I think they can pressure the puck better on the way back. I think they can be better defensively. I think they can drive the net more offensively and not be quite as perimeter. I think they'll be better this year. Whether they get more points or not, I don't know, but I think they'll be a better line, and that'll be good for all of us.